Welcome to Home Team Advantage. This is Mike Egan. I'm Gary Gimbetti, and this is take number 2 because I
won't say what I said before.
Yeah, no, there was an obscene gesture.
But you did
there.
point it at me.
Yeah. So we had to redo the take, so that wasn't put on the air. But
It's nice to know that people know who the difference are, who I am and who you are.
that's right.
Although I got the finger pointed at me.
That finger. But yeah, so when I want him to speak, that's when
Yeah, you
that's
pointed
when
at
I
me.
point at you because I have nothing to say ever. So
Well, why do I have that little electric thing on my ass? I think when you push that, I go,
that would be even better.
yeah.
Push the button. Mike, it's your turn to speak.
No, this is the mic.
Mike, speak in the mic.
There you go.
All right.
There we go. Let's get serious.
Well, today, I don't know when this is running, obviously. It'll be in the afternoon. The Section 7 AA cross-country meet is taking place in Hibbing today. The girls run at 1 o'clock. The boys run at 1:45.
And that's held at the Hibbing Municipal Golf Course.
That's right. That's right there. And it'll be a good, yeah. You want to get out and watch some young athletes perform. Cross country is the sport to watch because they put everything they have into it.
It sounds like Hibbing probably should be the favorite, at least in the girls.
In the
division.
girls, I believe they are the favorite. They hadn't sniffed a state tournament or a state meet until like 3 years ago, and then they won, and then they won the next year, and then they won last year, the section, and they're going for a four-peat as far as section champ goes, and they should be the favorites. Chisago Lakes could pose some problems. Proctor could pose some problems, but they've beaten all those teams this year, and as long as the girls are all running up to their capabilities, I don't think there should be an issue there.
It sounds like the weather will be cooperative. I shouldn't say sound. It looks like the weather will be cooperative.
Well, I heard it's supposed to rain today, but hopefully it doesn't rain till after 3 o'clock and
Right.
when everything's said and done, and they get it. They don't have any issues there. I mean, cooler weather is fine for them. I believe they probably prefer to run
Yep, and
when it's a little
cooler out.
than when it's hot, obviously. But so Tara Hertling comes in as the number 2 seed, I guess, if they seed them in the section. There's an Annika, somebody from Chisago Lakes, whose best time I think is 40 seconds faster than Tara,
Okay.
which seems almost impossible because Tara has run fairly well this year.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out with her. Avery Kukowski should place in the top 5, I would assume, and at least the top 10. So there's 2 right there. So now they just need the other 3. Oh, they have 7, but they only take the top 5 placers. So, well, they should all finish, I would think, in the top 20.
Good.
Because that's how strong they've been all year. So, and like James said, every person they pass is like a 2-point swing. So, get in there and run past as many runners as you can. And it's obviously, if you go to state, it's not your last race, but this is your last race of the season, obviously, in case you don't advance to state. So there's no sense leaving anything out on the course. You have to push your best and finish strong.
Well, my granddaughter asked, Grandpa, do you have any suggestion for me? I go, yeah, just keep everybody behind you.
Yeah, that's it. Don't let anybody pass you, and pass as many as you can. The boys, on the other hand, now, they haven't sent a boys team to state since 2000. They haven't sent an individual to state since 2015, and that was Josh Kemp and Braden Kernow, who were 2 very excellent runners at that point. I think they both went on. Well, I know Kernow went on to run in college, and so he's a very good runner. Yeah. And the one thing James Please told me is that in the history of the program, they've never sent a boys team or a girls team to state at the same time.
Wow.
So they're looking good. they hadn't lost to a section team all season, and then they ran into Cloquet, and Cloquet is the real deal. So they're going to have a tough time trying to beat Cloquet, because Cloquet will have a kid in the top 3 probably today. And then Pequot Lakes and Chisago Lakes, I believe, have teams that are very good. So he said they dropped from like the number 1 seed down to number 2 from Cloquet, but then with those other 2 teams, they dropped down to number 4. If you look at virtual times throughout the season. So
Now they're running on their home court, basically.
well, they are, and they don't have to travel, and
Nope.
and it's going to be up to. I know it'll be up to Jake Wally and Brady Janicic are going to have to really outperform. I mean, they've both cracked the 17-minute mark this year. I think around 16:55, 16:50. So they need that kind of effort today to do that again. And then it's up to the next, whoever the next 3 are. I know there's Lucas Arnold and Gavin Bexel. And then there's a couple of younger kids that hopefully will step it up. Sam Baumgartner, I know, is one of them. And I think Connor Sullivan is another. And then Jack Bottoms has come on as of late. And I'm probably going to forget somebody, and I apologize. But it's going to take an effort, because there's going to be, you'll have Jack Kendall of Rock Ridge, Evan Rothamel of Cloquet, and Brendan Sylvester of Grand Rapids are they're gonna run away with it. Those 3 have battled all year, and so I think they're down into the low 16s.
Wow.
So, you know, that first top 3 spots is going to be a little bit tougher to maintain, but then the Hibbing's got to be in that next pack behind that one and get as many runners as they can up there. And again, leave it all out on the course, because it could be your last race. So
Nothing to lose today.
nothing. So go out there, and hopefully we'll get 2 teams to state, and
They take the top 2, is that correct?
2 teams go, so the Hibbing's got that going for them in both the boys and the girls. I mean, if they don't happen to win the girls' race, they should be in the top 2. And the boys missed the top 2 last year by 4 points.
Okay.
And that's where Please said it's a difference of passing one
runner,
person,
right.
one runner, or even 2 guys passing one runner, and that's
4 points.
the whole difference
Yep.
right there. So, yeah, work your tails off, and hopefully good things happen for the cross country team today. Football team,
Respectable loss. Can you say that?
I think we can say that they lost to ESCO in the Section 7 3A playoffs 22-6. ESCO beat us 35-0, I believe. The first time we
First
played
time played
them.
here. Yep.
And this time, it was a very respectable game. And I was told that we maybe had a touchdown taken away from us.
A controversial call. Yep.
Yeah. So, you know, a loss is a loss. I get it. But that's how you start building your program. You start, you know, you might be not doing so well. Then you start, when you lose games, it's going to be tighter games. And then all of a sudden you get into those competitive games where you have a shot to win them. So congratulations to them. I know 2-7 is not what they wanted, but Matt's and his coaching staff have done a great job.
Two games better than last year.
Well, at least. I mean, I know they won. I know they beat Pine City last year, and I don't know if they beat somebody else. I can't remember right now.
Okay.
Offhand. So they did win one or two games year previous, and then this year 2-7, not bad. And I'm sorry, but you know, if you don't have a lot of kids to work with, it doesn't make it easy.
Right.
You have to get a bunch of seniors out. Like Pequot had 26. You need about 26 seniors to come out for your team, and then you can start putting something together. So they're done. The volleyball team lost to Greenway last night in the first round of the Section 7 2A playoffs, actually winning the first set like 25-22, but then I don't know what happened after that. I mean, it's just, then it went kind of downhill for them. So, but they were competitive. I guess it gets sets 2 and 3 maybe weren't so competitive, and then set 4 was more competitive. But they put up a fight. Good for them. They persevered through the season, and it didn't work out.
Yeah.
So, I should buzz your because you're letting me do all the talking. But I guess I know more about it than I know more about the high school stuff than actually you probably do at this point. So.
That's because you don't let me talk.
All right, go ahead. I don't want to hog up the stage, man.
Nope, you're doing just fine.
All right, thank you.
Just keep reading that cue card right
Yeah,
there.
right in front of me. You got to remember that
For the
we don't go off of teleprompters here either.
Yeah, we're off cue cards.
Yeah, cue card.
If you want to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have our cue cards sitting right over there.
Unlike a lot of other people read off cue cards or prompters, we don't do that here at HPAT. So.
It's the only show I know where I learned how sign language.
Yeah.
So, well, let's see. Boys soccer's done. Volleyball's done.
Girls soccer's
Girls
done.
soccer's done. So now we're looking to get into.
Well, swimming still
Swimming's
has
still there.
their. They have a Lake Superior conference meet here on Saturday.
Okay.
So there'll be about 5 or 6 teams here competing to see who's the best in the section or the best in the conference, and then their sections are coming up maybe in a couple weeks,
Okay.
and they're over in Grand Rapids, so we're not hosting them this year. So, and then I think tennis obviously was done. The state tennis tournament was this week. A couple of girls from Rock Ridge advanced down there, so they're playing individually into doubles today, I believe. So good luck to them. I had an incident Tuesday night. Cherry was supposed to play Hill City Northland, and I drove out there at 6 o'clock, and I'm walking up to the field, and Brian Kemp comes up to me and says, "You may as well turn around and go home because we don't have any officials."
Oh, really?
So I didn't go home right away, but I was told that they were going to wait for the officials of the Mountain Iron Big Four game.
The 91-0
Yeah,
game?
the 91-0 game, where they were going to have
Wow.
running time in the second half, I'm sure, and they didn't think that the game would start till like 8 or 8:30. And I went up to the press box, and I thought I might see somebody I knew up there, but I didn't know anybody, so I sat up there for a couple minutes, and then I ended up leaving, and then I never went back.
Wow.
So I wasn't going to drive back there.
Oh, Chisholm won the other day.
Well, Chisholm won. They were on the road. They were in what? Saginaw? Is that where Southridge School is? Is it
Southridge,
in
yeah.
Saginaw? They won 14-12, so they play Deer River now on Saturday.
Yeah.
Greenway Nashwauk-Keewatin got beat by Moose Lake Willow River, and Cherry did end up winning that game. They must have started. I think somebody said they started about 7:30 or 8.
Now, do they play Mountain Iron now, or they got
No,
somebody else
they have
first?
Little Fork Big Falls
Okay.
coming up this Saturday, and then Mountain Iron. I don't know who they play, but
But seriously, 91-0?
well, I know it's again. I know where you're coming from, but it's not against the rules to stop a team once in a while. But still, I mean, again,
Not against the rules of your
No, not
91-0 to take a knee either.
not against a machine like Mountain Iron. I mean, you know, they're so they can get the big play on you so
Yeah.
quickly. And I just asked Cherry about that in that game that they lost to him.
Well, I assume that Cherry and
Well,
see, that's why I don't talk, because I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
no, that's okay.
So it looks like Cherry and Mountain Iron will be like last year.
Yeah, they'll play over in Aurora on that field instead of maybe coming to Hibbing and playing. I don't know why we can't host that,
Yeah.
because it's a lot closer for me. I mean, I don't think I'm going to go over to Aurora because it's not really my side of the range that I cover, but
God, you would think they played here.
well, you would, because it's a lot closer, I think, than going to
That's a
Aurora.
nice field.
Yeah. So I don't know, but it's so the schedule is so ingrained. But they told me, I think what I heard about the official problem in Cherry was that they booked the squad a year ago to do the game, but then I think they all retired.
Oh.
or something. That's what I heard. That's allegedly what I
Yeah.
heard. And but I think they finally I think the code, when I talked to
Call Babe.
Nick Stevenson yesterday, I think they found a crew that would then volunteered to come over there to
Okay.
do it. So I don't think they waited until the Mountain Iron game was over to get that crew. So
But that's not the only incident this year where they don't have officials, and they're starting games earlier in the afternoon so that the official can do one game and then go do another one. So
yeah, it's becoming an issue, and I don't know. I'll give people in Hibbing a lot of credit because I don't hear a whole lot of negative stuff said toward officials. And now maybe I'm not hearing everything, but I haven't heard a whole lot of that in the stands. So congratulations to the people of Hibbing and for being kind to those guys. And they're out there doing the best job they can do.
Yep.
But do we segue into that officiating in the WNBA now?
they have officiating.
Oh, did they? Or
I don't
did they
know.
not have anybody on the field?
Girls
Or-
hockey, when does that start?
Oh, you forgot.
Well, girls hockey starts Monday, practice for real. And then they'll have some scrimmages here and probably over in Grand Rapids.
And then the boys will be firing up probably, or what, 2 weeks?
Well, yeah, probably the second week in November, I would assume.
So
So
Basketball?
Basketball will be right after the
Wrestling.
week after that. Wrestling. I don't remember if wrestling starts the same day boys hockey does or the same day boys basketball does. So yeah, all the winter sports will be firing up here pretty soon.
Yep.
So, but that I think takes care. I don't think there was anything else I wanted to. Well, the Class A actually section cross country meet is over at Eagles Ridge today, starting at noon, with the Class A boys and then the Class A girls. Olivia Pascuzzi, I would assume, will have a good shot at advancing the state from Chisholm. The Greenway boys, Nashua Keewatin boys, are going like for their 9th or 10th
Oh, wow.
section title. I mean, they've put the hammer down
Put a
on
program
that.
together,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, but he thinks Southridge might have an opportunity to knock them off. But good luck to Will and his teams over there.
Yep.
I mean, there's a girl from Ely, maybe a couple girls from Ely that could advance the state, and Rock Ridge, Jackson Kendall from Rock Ridge will more than likely advance the state, and because he'll be in one of that top group, so he'll be one of the top 5 runners after the two teams are determined. I think it's 5, it could be 7, I'm not sure. Runners not on the winning teams advance, so good luck to everybody today.
And before we switch to the pros, there's a, what is it, Prism?
Yeah, Prism concert next week.
Prism concert
Prism.
next week.
PRIZM, not PRISON.
It's combination choir band and
It's combination choir.
Oh, it's not the choir I sang in, Prism?
No, not the prison choir. So it's a combination of the choir and the band
the orchestra
and the orchestra. Where is that going to be held?
in the auditorium.
In the auditorium at the high school on what day?
Either Tuesday or Wednesday next
Tuesday or Wednesday,
Yeah.
beginning at what, 7?
Probably.
All right.
And hopefully they get the lights and sound figured out the right way.
Well, that's what we've been hearing. And they've had issues with that in the past.
Minnesota Lakes.
A lot of
So,
issues.
Yeah. But now we get into the
It's like Herman Munster. You said Utes?
Utes?
The Utes?
Utes, the 2 Utes.
Okay, here we go. WNBA.
Um,
We gotta come up with a word for that WNBA. Like, no referees.
no, yeah.
And it's not your crying milk, because they had a great series going. But like the NFL and the NBA, when a team is destined to be picked to win by the NFL, the NBA, or the WNBA, they're going to win.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that the Lynx coach has not been fined yet. I haven't heard, but she really blasted the officiating.
Oh, she did, and more power to Cheryl Reeve for doing that, because if you watch the video or the tape of it, Brianna Stewart shuffles her feet 4 times before she dribbles. Then once she dribbles, she goes up for a shot, and Alana Smith is nowhere near her
Yep.
with her hands straight up in the air.
Yep.
And they call a foul, and that, of course, tied the game. And then again,
Yeah, but they reviewed it. Remember?
well, yeah, they did review it,
Yeah.
and they still held the call.
Yep.
And why have a video replay
Well, because
if you're not going to get it right?
they got the call from the guy up in the booth. Leave it the
Leave
way
it
it
the way it
is.
So they end up tying the game in regulation, and then New York goes on and wins it in overtime.
Yep.
And it's just egregious. I mean, I don't know how the New York's going to feel real good about winning it, but I don't know how you can.
Yeah, well,
You were given that game, and again, but then I heard later that Nafisha Collier had a layup within the final 10 seconds or somewhere in there, and she missed it, which would have
Yeah.
probably iced the game.
Yeah.
This is what I'm hearing secondhand now after.
yeah.
And then they didn't score much in overtime, and she fouled out. And funny how New York shot 25 to 27 free throws, and Minnesota shot 7.
7.
Come on.
But
But they did hold for the bright light. Stewart had a terrible game, and Ionescu had a terrible game. Either one of those two. I don't think they scored many points in the game.
No.
So they held those two down. But that's the only reason they won, was because of those two women.
it was a shot in the arm for the WNBA because they had 5 full houses between
Oh.
Minnesota and New York. And what's the deal with Spike Lee? I get tired of watching that little midget run around on the floor. I mean, he's at Knicks game now. He's at the
WNBA.
Liberty games, and
Well, didn't you heard about the WNBA commissioner?
no,
She was wearing a dress that had the New York skyline on it.
oh nice,
So now you have the NBA commissioner
pulling for the New
pulling
York team.
for the New York team to win. So
Yeah.
you take out of that what you want.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a big, maybe I do like conspiracy theories, but I'm not saying that this is one of them.
Do you think the Kansas City Chiefs fall in that category?
Well, I don't know. I think the Chiefs are probably just that good, or have been that
They get a
good.
lot of help from the
Well,
NFL.
I'm sure, but
So, anyways, the other rumor is the Vikings are looking at a new quarterback.
okay.
They're going to swap uniforms tonight.
Yeah, I don't know. I've heard that too. I think they need. I don't know if there are problems at quarterback though. I think they need a little better defense.
That has really hurt them, and it seems they play so well the first half, and then after that, it's like they're playing prevent defense all the time.
Well.
What is the deal?
Yeah, I don't. They gave up 3 straight scoring drives to
Yeah.
Detroit in the second quarter, and then all of a sudden we come back, and then we
Flop.
flop in the end, and
Yeah.
it's
But
like.
hey, Detroit's got a good team.
Well, they do. I hate to admit that, but yeah, they're
Why
they're
not?
solid.
They've been lousy for
A long time.
30 years. They
Yeah.
finally put a winning team together.
Yeah.
They got a quarterback that everybody gave up on in golf,
They won the division last year.
and they won the division last year. And you got to get credit where credit is due. I'll never give it to the Packers, but I'll give it to the Lions.
No. I'm a big believer in the NFC North that no team is great until they beat the Vikings.
No.
I don't like any of the
Well,
teams
Detroit,
in there.
who won last week?
Well, but I had to chuckle last week because they were thinking about that our kicker Will Reichert walking out there and kicking a 70-yard field
Yeah.
goal.
Yeah, right.
And then isn't that just amazing to think that kid could
But it's just
possibly do it?
it'd be like a kickoff.
Well,
Right.
it would be, yeah, technically, except it's not on a tee.
Yeah, well, that's true, but why not give it a shot? You got a better chance at that than you do a 70-yard Hail
You know,
Mary.
Mary. Even though you could get an interference call, but that's
Yeah,
never going
that's
to
not
happen.
gonna happen.
They're never going to call interference on that.
So we got to wish them luck tonight. Hopefully
But
they'll
they-
beat L.A.
But they took a penalty right before that, I think, where it would have been a 67-yard
Oh, yeah, they had that. Yeah.
field goal attempt, and maybe they would have tried it.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I started laughing when they were talking about that at pregame after that game on the radio.
Well, the kicker for Detroit, when he was in the USFL, he kicked a couple 60-some-yarder field goals, one to win a game.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Hey, it's nice to have a kicker who's that good.
well, they've screwed up the game so many times now with this new kickoff rule and this and that.
No.
So,
Yeah, you're never going to see. I don't think you're ever going to see a return touchdown anymore. The Wild are
Hey,
started
undefeated.
out the best they've ever started out. They're 4-0-2.
yep,
One of the lone unbeaten teams. They haven't lost in regulation.
correct.
Obviously, they've lost in overtime
Yep.
and shootout two times, but they're playing well. They're just got to get Spurgeon back, and you got to get Hartman back, and like the old saying goes, you can't help the club when you're sitting in the tub.
Right.
Oh, that's what it is.
That's what it was. That's what I tried to figure out last week. Can't help the club if you're sitting in the tub.
I thought
So-
you can't help the club if you're sitting in the club, if you know what I mean.
So good for them. And then I guess the disappointing part of it on Tuesday night was that the Wolves lost to the Lakers.
Watch that game. And as I mentioned in our pre-screening meeting or whatever you call it, LeBron's kid, he's like a boy amongst men. He should not be on that court.
Mm-hmm.
But there's LeBron telling the Lakers, well, either you sign him or I'm not going to sign with you.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I don't like the guy.
Well, what disappoints me is it took a year for Cat and Gobert to get used to each other.
Yeah.
How long is this going to take now to get used to all these guys? If it's going to take another year, this is not going to be a fun year to watch.
But the other problem they had is, I think they missed like four or five threes in a row, and they couldn't shoot.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, that was supposed to be fixed when they got DiVincenzo.
yeah,
I thought.
well, he missed like 5 in a row.
I know. So, but hey, we come to the end of another show rather quickly. So, but for Mike Egan, I'm Gary Gimbetti. We'll see you again on Home Team Advantage.
For over 25 years, U.S. Bank, located at 211 East Howard Street in Hibbing, Minnesota, has provided office and studio space for Hibbing Public Access Television. We are thankful for their ongoing support. Up North Lettering specializes in embroidery and heat vinyl press applications, along with patches and letter jackets. For more information, call them at 218-966-7850. HPAT would like to thank them for their donation and support. HPAT thanks Premier Fitness at the Lux for their donation and support. They welcome individual and family memberships. To learn more, call them at 218-440-1191. Hibbing Public Access TV may be viewed on these platforms: hpat.org with video on demand, Mediacom Hibbing 802, 805, and 807. On Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Download the Hibbing Public Access TV app for your iPhone and Android devices. Find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Vimeo. For more information, scan the QR code and go to hpat.org.